In the days leading up to the sighting, Los Angeles was already a hub of speculation among the global fanbase of BTS. While the city frequently hosts major entertainment events, concerts, and celebrity appearances, the presence of Jungkook, one of the most internationally recognized members of the group, was not part of any publicly announced schedule. This absence of official notice is what made the events that followed particularly remarkable. The initial buzz began in an almost routine way. A few posts appeared on niche social media accounts that typically track celebrity movements in the city. The first unconfirmed mention came from a local resident who claimed to have seen someone resembling Jungkook in the Western District of LA, far from the areas usually associated with high-profile celebrity gatherings. This claim, posted with a brief description and without photographic evidence, was met with skepticism. However, in less than 2 hours, more posts began to surface. This time, the accounts were from individuals who were either connected to the entertainment industry or had reliable track records of spotting public figures in Los Angeles. The descriptions were consistent. Jungkook appeared to be wearing simple clothing, a plain cap, a basic t-shirt, and loose-fitting jeans. This understated outfit, paired with a location that lacked any clear connection to scheduled BTS activities, intensified curiosity. By mid-morning, fan-run networks on various platforms, including X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, and Weverse, began sharing speculative threads. Some users claimed to have friends or relatives working in nearby businesses who had also seen him. At this stage, there was still no direct photographic confirmation, but the volume of reports and the similarity in details began to lend credibility to the claims. As the chatter grew, keyword tracking services recorded a noticeable spike in searches for Jungkook in LA, unexpected Jungkook sighting, and BTS member in simple location. The rapid increase in online interest caught the attention of both local news bloggers and larger entertainment outlets. Several journalists began making calls to verify the reports, but in the absence of an official statement from HYB or Jungkook's management, the story remained in a speculative phase. One of the most notable aspects of the early buzz was the complete lack of correlation between the sighting location and any known celebrity hotspots in the city. The neighborhood in question was largely residential, with a few small businesses, a grocery store, and a modest coffee shop that catered to local customers rather than tourists. There were no red carpet events, no live music venues, and no paparazzi presence before the reports began. This unusual context added to the intrigue, as it suggested that Jungkook was engaging in an entirely personal or private activity, separate from any promotional commitments. While speculation can often lead to misinformation, the consistency in descriptions across independent accounts helped the narrative gain traction. Observers described him as moving casually, without any apparent entourage, and accompanied only by a single individual who may have been a member of personal security or a close acquaintance. Witnesses noted that there were no obvious attempts to hide his presence beyond the low-profile outfit, but he did not linger in open public spaces for long. By early afternoon, local fan groups began organizing informal check spots around the area. These were not large-scale gatherings at first, typically 2 to 5 fans per location, but their presence indicated a growing certainty that the sighting was genuine. Some brought cameras, while others simply hoped to catch a glimpse. In these initial stages, there was still a degree of respect for privacy, with fans waiting in public areas rather than actively pursuing him. Social media algorithms, particularly on X and TikTok, amplified the situation dramatically. Short videos speculating on his presence were shared thousands of times, even without direct footage. The use of trending hashtags such as hashtag Jungkook in LA and hashtag unexpected Jungkook caused the story to reach users outside of the BTS fan community. This broader spread introduced new layers of discussion, with some non-fans questioning whether the sighting was a coordinated publicity move or an entirely spontaneous occurrence. At this point, official BTS and HYB channels remained silent on the matter, which only fueled further interest. Historically, the company has sometimes confirmed or denied celebrity movements when they relate to public events, but has often refrained from commenting on private or personal activities. This silence left the fanbase to interpret the situation on its own, which naturally led to increased speculation and coordinated information gathering. By the evening of the same day, the initial buzz had escalated into a full-scale trend. Entertainment-focused radio segments mentioned the possibility of Jungkook being in the city, and at least 2 paparazzi photographers were reported to have been dispatched to the area, though without immediate success. Local businesses began to notice an increase in foot traffic, with some customers openly discussing their hope of encountering him. The combination of a globally famous figure, an unanticipated setting, and a lack of official acknowledgement created a rare type of public attention, one that was both fueled by fan excitement and driven by media curiosity. The first chapter of this unfolding story closed without a single verified image, yet the confidence in the reports was high among those monitoring the situation. Fans, journalists, and casual observers alike were left wondering not only why Jungkook would appear in such a simple location, but also what might happen if his presence was confirmed. The stage was set for the next phase, verification. The turning point in the unfolding situation came the following morning, when visual confirmation finally began to surface. While the previous day had been dominated by eyewitness accounts, vague descriptions, and unverified social media posts, the new material provided tangible evidence that Jungkook had indeed been in Los Angeles, and more specifically, at the location described in earlier reports. The first credible image emerged from an Instagram story posted by a local resident. The image was not a close-up, but it clearly showed a person matching Jungkook's physical profile, height, posture, and clothing style, walking past a small independent coffee shop in the same neighborhood mentioned in the initial wave of reports. The post was quickly screenshotted and circulated across fan accounts. Although it lacked high resolution, the distinct outline of his figure and the matching details of his outfit from prior descriptions strongly supported the authenticity of the claim. Within an hour, a second source appeared, a short, 3-second video clip uploaded to TikTok. Recorded from inside a parked car, the video showed Jungkook exiting the coffee shop holding a takeaway drink. While his face was partially obscured by a cap and mask, the mannerisms and visible tattoos on his right arm were enough for fans and several independent observers to conclude that it was indeed him. The clip was quickly mirrored on multiple platforms and became the most compelling piece of evidence so far. Major entertainment news outlets began to take notice. A segment on a local LA entertainment news program referenced a video, carefully stating that while there had been no official confirmation from Jungkook's agency, the available visual material aligned closely with verified past appearances. The report also noted that the coffee shop was not known for hosting celebrities and that its clientele was primarily made up of local residents. This aligned perfectly with the earlier descriptions of the location as unexpected and simple. By mid-morning, 3 separate witnesses agreed to provide statements to journalists. All 3 accounts were consistent in describing Jungkook's demeanor as calm and low profile. They noted that he did not interact extensively with the public, but did respond politely to brief greetings from passers-by. He remained in the area for less than 15 minutes before leaving in a dark-colored SUV. The timeline became clearer as more information surfaced. Based on gathered reports, Jungkook had arrived at the location around 9:20 a.m. local time. The coffee shop visit lasted approximately 6 minutes. Following his exit, he walked a short distance to another storefront before returning to his vehicle. There was no visible production crew, no promotional signage, and no evidence suggesting the visit was connected to a public event. From a logistical perspective, this kind of unannounced appearance is challenging to manage for a celebrity of Jungkook's stature. Analysts noted that the minimal security presence, seemingly just one accompanying individual, indicated either a high degree of confidence in the discretion of the visit or a deliberate choice to avoid attracting attention. It was also observed that the neighborhood's layout, with multiple small side streets and limited through traffic, would make it easier to arrive and depart without being noticed. The confirmation of the sighting triggered a new wave. The setting of Jungkook's unexpected appearance became a focal point of analysis once the sighting was confirmed. Rather than the bustling districts of Los Angeles commonly associated with celebrity activity, such as Beverly Hills, West Hollywood, or Santa Monica, The chosen location was a quiet neighborhood several miles removed from major tourist corridors. The area was primarily residential, with narrow streets lined by low-rise apartment buildings, small independent businesses, and a few open spaces frequented mostly by local residents. The coffee shop that featured in the viral video occupied the corner of a modest commercial block. Its exterior was unassuming, a single-story structure with cream-colored walls, a small awning, and a hand-painted sign above the entrance. There were no neon lights, no celebrity-themed decor, and no branding that would attract tourists unfamiliar with the area. Its seating area was limited to a handful of small tables both inside and on the sidewalk, accommodating at most a dozen customers at a time. The shop had been in operation for over a decade, owned and managed by a local family. According to public business records, it was one of several similar establishments in the neighborhood, distinguished primarily by its consistent service to the same group of regulars, local office workers, students, and retirees. Prior to the incident, it had no significant online following, with fewer than 1,000 followers on Instagram and minimal presence on review platforms. Surrounding the coffee shop were two other small businesses, a bookstore specializing in used titles, and a family-run grocery store. Across the street stood a small public park with benches shaded by mature trees, providing a modest but pleasant open space for neighborhood residents. Vehicle traffic in the area was light, and public transportation routes served it only sporadically, making it an unlikely place for sudden high-profile appearances. Urban analysts who later examined the location pointed out several factors that might have contributed to its selection, intentional or otherwise. Firstly, its relative anonymity provided a natural buffer against immediate crowd formation. Secondly, the layout of the streets allowed for discrete vehicle entry and exit, with multiple intersections nearby that could redirect traffic quickly. Finally, the absence of large commercial signage or high-density pedestrian flow reduced the chances of rapid public recognition. Photographs taken after the sighting revealed no visible preparations or arrangements that would suggest the coffee shop was expecting a celebrity visitor. There were no reserved seating areas, no additional staff on duty, and no evidence of external filming equipment. The simplicity of the surroundings made the visit of online activity.